there've been a lot of sad
That I'm working on.
Okay.
My own sense of
That's
helplessness.
my
And I was like, okay.
Welcome to another installment of Leadership Landscape TV, where we go inside the minds of local community leaders and allow them a chance to offer some keen insights into how they see themselves and, most importantly, explore just what makes them tick. I'm Kurt Jacobs, host of Leadership Landscape TV, where previous interviews have showcased leaders from the world of politics, religion, business, sports, law, community activism, and civic engagement. Today, our 181st guest is Gail Livley. She's the Executive Vice President, retired of the Louisville Apartment Association, known as LAA. For those of you who don't know our guest, allow me to read some of Gail's bio. She was raised in West Virginia, graduated in 1963, Virginia Intermont College for Women, receiving her Associate of Arts degree in Liberal Studies, and was Student Government President and Honor Council President, as well as a member of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society, not too shabby. In 1965, she then received her BS degree from the University of Charleston, graduating cum laude with a biology major and political science minor. In 1977, Gail became the Executive Vice President of the Louisville Apartment Association, retiring in 2015. Her management style and philosophy are simple: work hard, be honest, fair, patient, and true to the mission. Serve the membership and industry as though they were your family. Treat the financials as if they were your own. Err on the side of caution. Do what you do as though this was a calling. She then, over the course of almost 40 years, effectively led the organization that represented 49,000 rental units by taking LAA from a negative cash flow position to a 7-digit reserve and positive cash flow, developed an industry speakers program, created and led a volunteer board of directors, implemented a partnership with a national rental housing publication, taking it from 32 to 240 pages. She became a founding member of the West Virginia Apartment Association, participated in industry advocacy with the Lexington Apartment Association, Northern Kentucky Association, and Greater Louisville Home Builders and Board of Realtors, and HUD, just to name a few. In terms of governmental affairs, she is on a first-name basis with U.S. Senators and Reps, Kentucky Senators and Reps, Metro Council members, and has participated in U.S. presidential fundraising in 4 election cycles. Her awards are too numerous, but a few are: a 2015 finalist for the National Apartment Association Lifetime Achievement Award, and received the Institute of Real Estate Management Prima Richard Leasing Award in 1982. Gail was the Associate Executive Council President and became the Executive Officer of the Year, and in 1983 received the Real Estate Award from the Eastern Kentucky University. She was also a member of the American Society of Association Executives, a professional society for those who hold the position of Associate Executive, and has served on the Board of Operation Open Arms and co-chair of Silks in the Bluegrass. In 2012, she even testified before an EPA committee dealing with the regulation of products that are essential to the apartment industry. Gail resides in Louisville with her husband Neil, and they have one lovely daughter named Janet. Gail, it is a true pleasure to have you, and welcome to Leadership Landscape TV. What drives you to do all that you've done, you know, in the political realm, in the private sector with the Louisville Apartment Association, and what drives you to do those kind of things?
I think that it is the drive is to succeed, to touch others.
Okay.
That's it.
But you know, most people don't stay one place for almost 40 years. That's pretty
I
impressive.
loved it.
You loved
I
it.
did.
No 2 days were the same?
No 2 days ever the same.
Can you describe briefly the purpose of the Louisville Apartment Association for a viewer that might not know?
It is a nonprofit trade association, and apartment owners, and we have associate members as well that are vendor members.
Okay.
And they're improve the quality of multifamily.
Okay. About roughly how many members over the years? Have you had?
Probably an average of about 250.
Right, and 49,000
49,000
rental units. Geez,
rental
that's amazing.
units.
Whom do you credit most influential in your life? It could be
I
more
would
than one, personal or professional.
I would have to say my dad
Okay.
was probably the most influential.
Any particular moment or incident of that?
Absolutely, yes. I was 18, 19, and Dad lost his business due to really things like he just really didn't know about business. And I had some health issues, and I had to help him through that. Mother was busy working, and I saw the pain and the lack of self-confidence that he had. And that was really a defining moment to know that everything you'd worked for had been lost.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that defined.
What is your biggest professional triumph, Gail? And again, it can be more than one, personal or professional.
I would say building consensus,
Mm-hmm.
trying to build consensus with our board of directors and our members.
Okay.
And I hope I succeeded in doing that
I got you.
over the years.
What, without naming individuals or property owners, what was one of the more contentious or pleasurable parts of your 40 years as the
Actually,
executive VP?
there were no contentious moments.
Really?
No.
It's great.
You try to get those before they
Mhm.
are contentious.
Right, I got you.
So
That's the consensus
the
part of it.
consensus
I love
part,
it.
yes.
I love it. What was the best piece of advice ever given to you, Gail?
I actually had one personal and one professional.
Okay.
The personal was when my daughter was born.
Mhm.
The pediatrician walked out of the room and walked back in the room. He said, "Young lady, I would like to tell you that the difference between loving a child and spoiling them is giving in to them.
Mm.
Don't forget it." And that was the personal one.
Okay.
And when I accepted
Have you lived up to that?
I don't know, I hope so. I
Just
hope
checking.
so. I hope
I
so.
know your daughter.
She's boy,
All right.
yes. The second was professional.
Okay.
And it was my predecessor who had been mentored well by others.
Mhm.
And she said, "I want you to remember that a good executive director never has a bad president or board of directors.
Smart.
Don't forget it."
That's smart. I love it. Can you define leadership in one word in the great English lexicon? I mean, the show is called Leadership Landscape TV after all.
I actually have
You have more
done
than
some
one.
research
Have you?
on this. Yeah, I would say character
Okay.
in one word.
Okay. Character. You want to elaborate or just
No,
that's
I
it for
think
now?
that's it. You said one word.
All
I
right,
got
that's all.
it.
That's I love it. That's all I'm getting out of her. Bio's this long. I get one word out. If someone were to ask you, what is the single most positive contribution you've made to humanity, what might that be? Now, it's one of those self-deprecating or self-aggrandizing interpretations. It's up to you.
I would hope that it would be helping others
Mhm.
achieve success.
You feel like you've done that.
I hope.
I think you've done
I
that.
hope.
And what I've known that you've done in the community. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Managers of apartment communities, to maintenance folks, to housekeepers, and treating everyone the same.
Mhm.
That would be what I would hope.
Okay. Now, this next question I call the magic wand question. If you were queen of the world for a day, if you could change one thing, what would it be and why? No limitation. Personal, professional, social, economic, whatever.
I probably would treat myself better.
Really?
I think that I ignored wellness, diet, all kinds of things that we know more about now than we did in
Mhm.
the past. But if I were to go back and rewind the clock knowing what I know now, I believe that's what I would do.
Now, this next question I asked, I call it our mouthful question. You had mentioned character earlier when I asked about leadership. Could you describe in detail a particular scenario or incident where you utilized your own philosophy on leadership? And it can be more than one, personal or professional.
I think when I was student government president
Okay.
at Virginia Intermont, that was a real defining moment on character and the honor, being on the honor council.
It was your first time in
It
a
was
leadership
my
position?
first time in a leadership position, and that was
What did you learn that you liked and didn't like about Gail Livley, or about being a leader? Let's put it that way.
tough decisions. Honor council was a tough one. You had to make decisions about your peers
Mhm.
and their integrity, and that's hard. That's difficult.
I like this next question. If someone asked you, what does Gail Lively stand for? What would you tell them? Not what they might think about you, which may not be suitable for TV, but what would you tell them?
I would hope again that it would be consistency,
Mm-hmm.
fairness, and treating everyone as though they were the same.
Mhm.
No favoritism.
I got you. Now, you said there was like 250 roughly members when you were doing it. We won't name names, but I'm going to interject some questions in here just about the apartment industry. What's it like having to deal with a property owner? Some of them have strong personalities, some maybe are disorganized. I don't want to put words in your mouth. How did you deal with, you said you never really had anything contentious, but I mean, I'm sure there were times where a certain property owner might own a lot of property and you see a pattern develop when, oh gosh, there he or she goes again. They bought this something and you know what's going to happen. Were you ever able to ever mitigate those kind of things? And again, if I'm making up scenarios that just never happened, say that. But I'm curious your thoughts on that stuff.
I was tried to be very careful in dealing with the entrepreneurs, and
Spirit of the entrepreneur.
Absolutely, some of the best in this community for 38 years. I had to deal with, and again, trying to know about them before anything contentious came up, and that was very helpful. Was doing your homework.
Now, you know, we've heard the term millennials, and I try to keep our programs as timeless as possible, but they're coming on the scene, you know, into the workforce, into leadership roles in the culture of the United States. Do you feel like, and I don't think there's any wrong answer here, we're going more towards an apartment-based economy, society, whereas our generations, you know, valued home ownership, single-family residential experience, or do you feel like it might swing back that way again?
The pendulum always swings.
Okay.
Oh, it has for 40 years that I've been in the business. It is single-family home ownership, and then right now we're in a great apartment, multifamily boom, and it will swing back, I'm sure, when things level out.
Do you think there's a difference today in leaders, or maybe in this case property managers, owners, than there was when you started in the business 40 years ago or so?
Oh my, yes. When I started in the business, most of the property managers were working out of their apartments, and there was no office except for your personal dwelling.
Okay.
And we've come such a long way, and I attribute the association's educational programs and things of that sort that have evolved over the years, and now they have grand offices and they're treated better, I believe. But boy, what a hard job they all have, because they're all mayors of a small city.
Sure they are.
So
sure they are.
Things have really changed in that respect.
A lot more regulation.
A lot more regulation, but professionalism in the industry it's amazing. I've watched 2 to 3 generations of entrepreneurs, their fathers, then the sons come.
What do you think that is the biggest challenge of owning an apartment? I mean, I know that wasn't technically your direct role, but I'm sure you inadvertently may have ended up in situations where from time to time you may have found yourself being a property manager for an individual or a situation. What was that like for you?
Well, the residents called the office if they had an issue. And I always tried to steer them back to the property manager and not involve the LAA per se, because you know, you all only hear on the phone one side of the story. So I would refer the calls back to the property manager.
Yeah, there's 3 sides to every story.
There's 3 sides to every story.
Yours, mine, and the truth.
That's exactly right.
I always love that.
So that was always the philosophy at the association, is try to volley the ball back.
Now, you said that you prided yourself on consensus over the years. Do you feel like you were a good delegator when needed to be?
No.
I like your honesty.
I honestly...
I don't think I've had maybe less than 10% of our guests answer that question.
I was not. I always thought I could do it and not have to explain it, and I would do it myself. And were I back 38 years, I would probably do that differently. I would be a better delegator.
Right, I got you. Now, we've got several pictures here. I'm just going to hold them up, and I call it Picture Association, and you can... This one's pretty self-explanatory. This is the logo for the Louisville Apartment Association. Does it mean anything? The fleur-de-lis or anything?
Well,
obviously for Louisville, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. I like the color scheme, I guess, because at the University of Louisville, I'm guessing. I'm not sure.
That's exactly right.
I know nothing. I won't say anything. I went to that other school up the road. But anyway, who's this? You're getting an award from or giving?
Actually, it was giving, and it was to the National Apartment Association president.
Okay.
He came to our gala
Mm-hmm.
at Christmas, and we gave him a Slugger bat.
That's great. Now this next one, I'll let you explain to the audience who this is, who they are.
He was the gentleman on the left
Yeah.
was, you're right, was president of the National Apartment Association and was from Texas, and that is Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison, who served in the U.S. Senate for a very long time.
Yeah, she
and
was there a
myself.
long time. And then, since most of our audience is from this region, this one needs a little introduction, but who are you with here?
Again, on your right, Greg Brown, who is the Director of Government Affairs for the National Apartment Association, Senator McConnell,
Yes.
and myself.
I got you. And then this one, just about anyone will know. Go ahead and,
That was a highlight.
I was going to say, there's a little
That
bit of a
was a
story to that
highlight.
day, too, if I recall in my research view.
Well,
That you might want to share. If not, we can move on to the
you
next
know,
picture.
as I stood there getting that photograph taken with my husband, and I thought, my goodness, a little girl from a town of 1,200 in West Virginia
Right.
to the President of the United States. How good can it get?
Yeah.
Just how good can it get?
Big achiever, big achievement. And then not to be outdone, and U.S. Congressman.
Absolutely.
Been a
love
guest on our
him,
program,
yes.
John
He's-
Yarman.
John is a great guy.
He is a good man.
Yes, he is a good man.
And then this is your lovely daughter.
Yes,
Jana,
and
what are y'all doing here?
we presented a check to the University of Louisville Athletic Department.
Okay.
It was Home Builders, Board of Realtors,
Mhm.
and the Apartment Association in combo
Okay.
had Coach Bettino come speak to us,
That's great.
thanks to the daughter
Uh-huh.
who worked in athletics. And that was us presenting
Okay.
the development department with the check.
I love this picture. This is a while back.
That's a while back. That was my daughter's 27th birthday.
Uh-huh.
And we loved West Virginia and the Greenbrier.
Mhm.
And Sam Snead was still the
Wow.
golf pro.
Amazing.
So we decided that since she was membership director at Lake Forest, we would give her a lesson, a golf lesson with
Sure.
Sam Snead. And it was a highlight,
cool.
I hope.
So how was it, like a whole afternoon kind of thing?
No,
or-
it was actually about 40, it was a half hour, but
Wow.
he teed up every ball, and
Wow.
I think he wore her out. I do.
Well, you'll have to get the answer on that. I'm not going to touch that one. So this next one, I love this. Now, who's this?
That's my father-in-law.
Okay, and his name?
Dear, his fondly known as Boots Lively.
Boots
Yes.
Lively. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Just an amazing man,
Mm-hmm.
kind-hearted, always a smile, and always the best advice. But he
Yeah.
didn't get in anyone's business. He was just a good father-in-law.
Just did his own.
Everybody could hope for
Yeah,
that.
I hear you. So now who is this?
That's my dad,
Okay,
and that was during the Second World War.
okay.
And Dad served in the Navy.
Wow.
And
Speaking of the Second World War, you found a clip from
my mother kept that
This is
newspaper.
impressive.
And that was August 15th of 1945, and when going through her things, when she passed away, I found the newspaper and, of course, kept that.
Yeah,
And
that's cool.
passed that along to Janet if she wants it.
Now, I love this. I thought
Oh.
I kept a lot of ones, but this is from the early 1960s. This is a newspaper article. What's going on here?
Neil and I had been married 10 months, and I decided to have the family for Thanksgiving. Oh, my.
This is before or after you became student government president?
This was after.
Okay, so
So anything was achievable.
so leadership, I love it. Character, right?
Character.
Okay.
Worn out.
Really? So you just took it upon yourself to make the entire meal for the family?
I did. I used family recipes. They weren't all
Okay.
as tasteful as they should have been.
Right.
Tasteful.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So how does that get in the newspaper, though?
I was never really sure. I think
Your cooking was just that good?
No, it
or
was
maybe,
no. I think it was my mother-in-law who
Okay.
engineered that.
I got you. Now this picture here is a few more industry pictures.
Yes, that was our president, current John
Mm-hmm.
Blight, who's been a member since before I began the job,
Mm-hmm.
and he's now was president again.
Okay,
And that was our presidential gala.
gotcha. And then this is you, I believe, giving an award at.
I was giving flowers to the
Okay.
past president's wife
Gotcha.
at our gala.
And then the picture earlier with former President George Bush, that was your husband in the picture, wasn't it?
That was my husband.
Neil.
Yes.
And we'll put that back up on the screen. So this next question, I'm curious to see what you have to say. If you, well, you're basically retired, so you're driving your own bus. If you gave yourself 2 weeks, no technology, where do you go? What do you do? Who do you take with you? 14 calendar days, 10 business days.
I would go to the Greenbrier because from that location, I could go visit all the things that were really important to me in my childhood
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy that beautiful place. And it's so serene and so quiet there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not exciting like, Rome or
Hey,
Paris
but if
or
it works for
wherever.
you, that's all that
But
matters.
if I were to have a mini vacation from life, that's where
Mhm.
I would go.
Now, you still have property in West Virginia, correct?
Yes, we do. We
Yeah.
have a home in West Virginia
And
that
you've renovated it, I believe.
we did. My
That's
husband
awesome.
and daughter and I and everybody else that we know has been a part of that
I got you.
renovation.
I got you. Now, this next question I like because I think it gives a lot of insight into your character, back to that word. If you could have dinner with one person, living or dead, just the two of you, who would it be and why?
It would be two people.
Okay.
It would be my father and my father-in-law.
Now, there's one, folks. You never hear that. Why?
They were such different personalities, and I would like to really have their perspective on how things were and how things are, and on Gail,
Mm-hmm.
from a young girl
Really?
to now.
You think they wouldn't hold back? No, you know them.
Oh, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No,
Not at all? Not
no,
at all?
I don't think so.
I got you. Now, if you could have written a letter to the young Gail Fox, maybe before you were Gail Livley, what might you have told Gail at that time, knowing what you know now?
I would have told Gail to work smarter,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily. Hard work, always.
Right.
But I think I could have worked a little smarter than I did and maybe accomplished more
Mm-hmm.
and different.
Okay. World's changed quite a bit since you became the leader of the Louisville Apartment Association. This is more of a cultural question than an industry question. Do you have any advice for female leaders or women out there that might see this, that are trying to exert themselves into leadership roles because you're a good role model? Do you have any advice for them?
I would say work hard, but they have so many tools that I didn't as, starting out in the business world. I think the computer,
Sure.
computers, iPhones, you're so accessible all the time.
Yeah, there's good and bad in that.
And there's good and bad in
Yeah.
that, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it really does, it's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Because I struggle now
Mm-hmm.
with technology.
Knowing what you know now, would you have done anything different in your life, personal or professional?
Only treat myself a little better maybe,
Mhm.
again.
Yeah.
But really, no.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a great life,
Yeah.
had a great job,
Yeah.
worked with wonderful people,
That's awesome.
and helped people find great housing.
Mhm.
So,
Sky's the limit. It's not over yet.
it's not over.
I got you.
It is not over.
Now, no one gets out of the guest seat, or you're our 181st guest. So if it all ended today, God forbid, it was your last day on earth, how do you want to be remembered?
I had a great ride. My entire life has been absolutely fulfilling,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just, I couldn't ask for more than has happened to me.
That's great. It's quite a pleasure and honor. You're quite an enjoyable guest to have on Leadership Landscape TV.
Thanks,
Thanks
Kurt.
so much for being here. If you have any general feedback or a suitable guest suggestion, feel free to email me at kurt@leadershiplandscapetv.com. And if you want to get onto social media, just type in Leadership Landscape TV or go to our website. Till next time, I'm Kurt Jacobs. Thanks for watching.